perfect. Check out Coach Hale Show on ESPN. Contact Coach Hale, and he'll hook you up and get you started in the right direction and get you a lot more business.
Get results for your business. Call ESPN Northwest Florida. 850-215-4468. 850-215-4468.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And now, the Gulf Coast's newest sports talk host.
Hey, there's the new guy.
Paul Wilson.
That is not winning football.
Paul is your pipeline to the heart of the action.
The defense can only play this good for so long.
Hot takes, big reactions, and your calls are incoming.
This week, it's really going to be crucial.
The Sports Blitz.
They're playing championship football.
The new Sports Blitz.
You can say what you want.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You beautiful people. It is the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Your place for Orlando Magic basketball. Right here in the Panhandle at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. This beautiful Wednesday. A little cold, a little chilly, but we're okay. Getting better. But either way, you want to be a part of the show, you can be. 850-215-6290, the Red 70s phone line. A place where you can get all your custom apparel stuff right on the spot. Either way, on a Wednesday, so good to have our friend Tennessee Brandon's in the house. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing good. A little warmer in here than it is outside, so these jackets will probably be coming off during the break. But nonetheless, I'm like you. I'm ready for the 70, 80, 90. I mean, even 100-degree weather, I think, is better than 32-degree weather, in my opinion.
Yeah, and as I look over, I'm looking at you and your puffer jacket on, zipped all the way up to your throat. And then you got Jeff in shorts. Yeah, Jeff's in shorts and a T-shirt looking like he's ready to run a marathon. Jeffrey, how you doing?
I don't know about y'all. I live in Florida.
Man, at 5 a.m. when you're walking the dogs and stuff like that, it is cold and dark, and you require pants and a jacket. So it's what stayed on me.
He sleeps into like 6:15.
Yeah, I do. I don't. Only dog walking I do is if I take you two on the basketball court. But either way, as well as Bone Crusher in the building, no shorts, but definitely short sleeve.
Yeah, I got the shorts because the rain keeps it pretty hot in here. But I made a new decree.
All right.
I issued a new decree. If you're 4 minutes late, guess what? You're on time. It's no problem. And we're not, I'm tired of the bullies that if you're not 5 minutes early or late crowd, those bullies. So I'm putting my foot down. There you go.
On time's on time.
On time means 4 minutes. All right. Jeffrey says no with that expression.
Let
like,
Jeffrey off the hook.
Yeah, that's true.
I love that.
Are you German?
Strudel.
He is German. Because they're like, got to be on time. That's how Germans are.
Jeffrey.
Are they?
They're the ones that are known for that.
You have a lazy spine, Jeffrey.
Oh, man. This show could spiral out of control if I wasn't here. For sure.
No doubt.
But wait a minute. We got to talk about something.
Tell us.
You know what this guy did on Monday?
What did he do on Monday?
Oh, my God. He did this right here, and he picked Miami to win a national title.
I did.
My goodness. And he owns up to it, too.
I did.
I thought he'd at least just lie
I
about
thought he was
it.
on the Indiana side last week.
What's that?
I thought he was on the Indiana side
He
last week.
seemed like it, but somebody, I don't know, some girl flirted with him, a hurricane girl.
That
or something.
Indiana-Alabama game was still
That
just
is not
weighing
true.
in his head, so he couldn't see Indiana win after abusing them.
Yeah, he flipped, man. 4-point win is what he guessed.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a close game, and I got that part right, but the winner, I got it wrong. But Jeffrey thought it was going to be a 20-point victory, and it turned out to
I mean, I thought it was going to be three touchdowns. I mean, it ended up being close. Picked the right winner, just didn't pick the right spread.
Yeah, well, and the thing is that when you looked at all of the things that needed to happen for Miami, it just didn't. And obviously, we went over it yesterday. And the one thing that was glaring for me, and I get it. I mean, Fletcher had 112 yards rushing, but 150 was the number. Because if you would have remembered some of the things that could have happened, the things that didn't happen, which was Carson Beck running the football effectively whenever the pocket would break down, you never saw that.
No.
That was something that needed to happen, and it never did. And then obviously a lot of people, especially Georgia fans, are really on the online chatter talking about, we told you so about Carson Beck. And, that's a tough pill to swallow because of the way that they did lose. It wasn't just the one throw. I mean, it's from, the block punt to just not being able to get off the field on third down sometimes. And then the fourth down draw play by Mendoza.
Oh yeah, I mean what a gutsy call by Kurt Cinetti.
That was a good call.
And to your point, I think Miami's defense gave them every reason to be in that game. The amount of times that they got to Mendoza was incredible. They were lighting them up. But what I thought was more incredible is the decision making by Mendoza. Took his sacks when he needed to take his sacks, threw the ball away when he needed to throw the ball away, had no fumbles, had no interceptions. The pressure did not make him make poor decisions. He was the ultimate game manager right there. I mean, he didn't do nothing spectacular. You're looking at the stat sheet, 16 for 27, 186 yards, no touchdowns. I mean, but look, he won a national championship. He is the Heisman. He played the game correctly. I mean, he was the reason that they ended up winning that. And one turnover from Indiana, Miami goes home and wins this thing.
And number 31, who lured that hit on him when he was at Cal a year ago, you saw what happened. He's the one bounced off of him right before the goal line, like 2-yard line. Same guy.
Definitely his Heisman moment, leaping in there for that touchdown. I mean, that was not only a good call, but just the determination by Mendoza to want to get in that end zone at that time was huge momentum.
Yeah, the will to win was definitely there. I'm listening to you, and I'm trying to be. I'm trying to allow what you guys are saying to really get me there, and I'm still. I'm in
performance.
I'm in. What's the pin? The old school game pinball. I'm still trying to let it.
The ball's bouncing around.
It's bouncing around. But
I'm sorry, it fell.
I still haven't hit it yet, and I'm still trying to think about. That
you shouldn't be traumatized. Not Bama.
He definitely was not the best player on the field that night.
No, Malachi Toney's the best player on that field at on offense or defense at any time. And I'm sure we'll get to it, but that is Miami's top retention player right there.
Of course, we are.
His NIL evaluation has skyrocketed.
So you're saying that Beck couldn't get it to Toney, or Toney just couldn't get open?
Well,
what's going on?
He had 10 catches. There was a concerted effort by the Indiana defense to try to take Toney away. Sometimes they would drop back the defensive lineman just to take away the slants or the right-off tackle throws that they like to throw the screen to Toney with, which they did throw it to him a couple of times, and sometimes it worked and then sometimes it didn't because they were aware of Toney where he was at all times. And, it's just like Jamar Chase. We talk about him, and I'm not saying Toney's Chase yet, but I'm just saying, it's one thing to know where the ball's going, but it's another thing to stop it, too. So, I mean, realistically, and I'm glad you said that because that kind of helps me. Now I'm getting the ball starting to come closer to the flapper to be able to hit it because, as much as I think, now yesterday I very clearly drove the nail home on Francisco Mendoza was the best quarterback in college football this year. I mean, we agree on that. He was the best quarterback.
He played the position the best this year, yes.
Yeah.
Overall, over the whole season.
Over the whole season.
Times where other quarterbacks, had
moments. Yeah. And so, but for me, like we said yesterday, not one of the top 25 football players.
No.
Probably one of the top 25, very close to that 25th quarterback ever. But
top 12. Okay, now here's the question: is it top 25 that it won it all, or just top 25 altogether?
Well, I would just go with have won it all, because that kind of shrinks the
he
list.
is a top 25 that's won it all.
I don't think so.
Because there's people like Eric Crouch and shoot, I mean, there's a bunch of them. Ken Dorsey, really? Ken Dorsey's no Mendoza.
Yeah, but, I mean, this is going to probably make you crazy, but Danny Werfel was a better college quarterback than Mendoza.
Yeah, he had wide receivers, man. He had a lot of
How many of those wide receivers went to the pros and did anything?
I have to look it up.
None of them. Thank you.
I mean, how many of those guys were 0 to 2-star recruit coming out of high school?
Probably none of them.
Probably none of them. I mean, the fact that he was able to do what he did.
And again, I'm not trying to bash Francisco Mendoza. He's going to be the number 1 draft pick. He's going to have a NFL career. I just don't. I think he needs to be developed he'll have to be developed in the NFL game, because the college game, he was a robot. He did exactly what he was told, and he ran it to perfection. And it just was a little different seeing him getting hit and making bad throws. I mean, you said he was 16 for 27, so, I mean, that's 11 misses that we hadn't seen throughout the year so far. I mean, because realistically, and we get it, there was some holding going on that they was not going to call, and they set the precedent early that we're not calling hand fighting. We're going to let it roll, and the back shoulder just wasn't open like it was all year whenever they would allow them not to hold them. So I mean that's it. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, he definitely the moment he ran the play. That one time where Bain come to sack him and he almost knocked the ball away, and Mendoza was able to hold. Oh, yeah. Mendoza's a big guy. I mean, he's not a small fella. So.
He's definitely slender. He's got some room to fill out. What is he, like 6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah.
No, 6'3". Huh? Is that 6'4"?
Okay, sorry.
No. I mean,
6'3", 6'4", my bad.
Well, no. When you're my height, it does make a difference. Because when there's guys standing next to me who's bigger than me, I'm kind of like, okay, this is not normal. Yeah. Is he 6'4"?
I don't know, but I'm just saying.
He's 6'5", 225.
Yeah,
I thought he was 6'4", 6'5". He's a big,
I thought he was taller than you. Sorry.
He is taller than me, apparently.
Yeah.
But we know Kyler Murray's not. You're taller than Kyler Murray for sure.
Yeah, I think Kyler Murray might be my height.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. Him and Diego Pavia, they eat at the same table.
So did a Hurricanes guy enter the portal today, huh?
Yeah, so we need to talk about that. Malachi Toney, it's been reported that he is entering the portal. Now, the way it works is they get an extension for the teams that made the playoffs. So they all get an extension. That's how come you're seeing more traffic. He hasn't signed, but he is supposedly going into the portal. Has he officially went to the portal? Some say yes, some say we're not sure yet. So it's kind of a deal right now, and you know as well as I do what's going on right now. What is going on is the fact that they are sitting down talking about money. His agent's talking to Miami and giving them first chance because he is a Miami guy. His mom was interviewed, and they said, we're at home. I don't know what you're talking about. We're at home, meaning Miami is our home. And, the biggest thing for Miami, I believe, is the fact that you got to know who's throwing the football. I mean, and that lends you to the other issue that's going on right now with the quarterback from Duke. So it is going into court. Duke is suing him, but at this moment, he's allowed to be in the portal, but he just can't sign right now. So that's what the deal is with him. So with Malachi Toney, that's the biggest thing that's probably hinging his signing right now, right away. Who's going to be my quarterback?
Well,
because the backup transferred out.
I think his name is Emory Williams.
Yeah,
he was the backup. So, I mean, but Miami's ready to throw another $5 or $6 million at any transfer quarterback willing to come down there.
Right, and that's really. But at the other step of that is who's left. Because really, who is left? And I do want to make a quick announcement that I did not realize that was going on, and this is going to play a huge role into next year's playoffs, into next year's SEC, is the fact that Gunnar Stockton is coming back to Georgia. I had no idea. I thought he was done. I thought that was his last year. But no, I am wrong in that Gunnar Stockton is coming back for next year. So for me, odds-on favorite right out the gate, I'm going Georgia right now because of that. And, and that's the deal. That's the deal. Whoever's going to win it next year is definitely going to be a transfer quarterback or a second-year starter. That's it. And I'll bet anybody, my paycheck to your paycheck, to that right now.
And Julian Sand went pro.
No, he's staying.
Oh, he's staying.
Yeah. So if you think about it right now, every quarterback, every team that has the ability or is even being considered a top 25 team either has a transfer quarterback coming in or it's their second-year starter.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction right now.
Okay.
Paul's going to pick a loser next year to win it all. And if he can do this, he's going to do this because Texas is going to lose the national championship next year.
Wow. Are they going to play in it, though?
Oh, yeah. They're going to lose the championship.
Okay.
Texas will.
Okay.
And that's a second-year starter.
Yeah, it would be.
Second-year starter.
And they'll lose it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think Georgia, right out the gate, second-year starter, Gunnar Stockton knows what's going on, not having to change anything. Everybody's going to be the same. The whole coaching staff is the same. Nobody from the Georgia staff got robbed. That's the biggest deal. But either way.
Those are the top three, in my opinion, though. Georgia, Ohio State, and Texas, it's theirs to lose.
Is Jeremiah Smith, the receiver from Ohio State, has he declared for the draft?
No, he can't. He's still
got
year.
one more, so they're still coming
and
back.
Tate's gone. Tate is gone.
Yeah, I seen Tate on the draft board for potential the mock draft and everything like that. So that'd be interesting, no doubt.
Well, we're going to go to the Red 17's phone line. We got Mike on the phone. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm doing just fine, Paul. Paul, let me tell you something. I agree with Georgia. I didn't know Gunnar Stockton was coming back. But there's something wrong when you're in line of things. I don't think Ohio, I say this, I say this with hesitation. I know Ohio State will never win a championship again if they don't make some changes. Because, number one, the only time they ever won a championship is when they had Irving Meyer and John Cooper as head coach. Even didn't win with John Cooper. I don't think Ohio State's going to win, but I'll give you your last two teams because I don't have that much. Everybody knows I'm not an Ohio State fan, and I'm not ashamed to admit it on the air. I'm just not a big Buckeye fan because I just don't think the Buckeyes have an in to win championships.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens because the offensive coordinator, it's a definite thing for Ohio State to have the offensive coordinator because if Ryan Day is going to call the plays, they're going to be in trouble. If you remember, every time they've had him calling the plays, that's the problem.
I think they're going to give. Here's what I think is going to happen. Okay, what I think is going to happen is they're going to go with Ryan Day one more year to see if he can win it. But it ain't going to happen with him. I think he'll get fired at the end of the year.
Oh, wow.
And you can take me to the bank. You can take it to the bank. But I don't think Ryan Day's that coach, that I don't think he makes a good head football coach. Now, he may win it somewhere else, but as long as he's at Ohio State, he'll never win another championship again.
Yeah. Well, Mike, we do appreciate the call. We're bumped up against a break. I appreciate you every day getting to talk to you, man. We appreciate you.
Well, Paul, I love the sports And I always kept, the moment I turned on ESPN Radio 104.3, I immediately put your ESPN phone number in my phone, and I've got it on speed dial. Let me check them. I appreciate you and Bone Coach and your partners for letting me come on and speak one piece.
Oh, yeah. Well, we love you, Mike. We love you, my friend.
I love you, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, man.
So it's Jim Tressel and not John Cooper.
Yeah. Tressel, well,
Cooper never won.
Yeah, Tressel won, and then Day won, and then Urban Meyer won. Well, let's read some of this from Facebook. Van Chancey said that Mendoza doesn't change the plays, and he said, geez, he's going to be another 6-year player, talking about Gunnar Stockton. Humbert Diesel, our friend of the show, Ty, he said, only one thing wrong with Texas argument. The SEC would have to make it to the championship to lose in it. So there you go, Ty. Humbert is definitely a Big Ten homer. So we'll let him. You and him should hang out on the side because
we'll argue a lot.
And then Stone Cold Brian Austin says that Texas over Indiana in next year's Natty. And then Ty wanted to make sure, because he's a big Michigan fan, that we said Tressel's national championship got vacated, so it doesn't count. So there you go. But either way,
everybody's still counting. It's sad.
I think it's true. Crazy.
I mean, tattoos, take it away from them. Really, come on. They are talented. Maurice Clarett. Right?
Yeah, that was him. Yep, that was it.
Can Brandon name the 7 different SEC teams that have made the playoffs in the last 2 years?
He can, but he's going to have to do it after the break.
After the break.
But when we come back, we're going to be talking to Aaron Bearden and Instant Replay Sports Cards. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Chris Lowe, it has been a bleak fortnight in Alabama.
They've made progress, but I think the fact that they lost 2 of their last 3 games, money games, games that everybody remembers, is something that's not going to sit well.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Wednesday's weather. The remainder of the day, there will be a light breeze out of the southeast, mostly clouds and 63. Clouds tonight, a bit colder at 52. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a light breeze right around 6 miles per hour with a high of 69. About the same at 67 Friday, and we'll have some clouds in the early morning followed by very light rain. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover your next adventure at Bill Bird Kia, where the road is yours. Start the new year in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. And don't miss this limited time offer on the purchase of a stunning new 2025 Kia K4 with sporty style, spirited performance, and 2.9% APR for up to 48 months. Thinking about the iconic Kia Soul? The 2025 model delivers its unmistakable silhouette and massive cargo space. It's the last of its kind. Purchase a new 2025 Kia Soul and get 3.9% APR for up to 60 months. But hurry before it's all gone. You get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia, the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia K4 with $22.09 per month per 1,000 financed in 48 months, or a new 2025 Kia Soul with $18.37 per month per 1,000 financed in 60 months. Quantities are limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. New vehicles only. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers must take delivery from dealer stock through 2/2/26.
This is Auburn basketball.
Baseline left out to the top. There's a steal for Jovic. Phillip on a drive to the hole. Holy cow! That's a one-man show right there. Phillip Jovic.
Saturday, the Tigers take on the Florida Gators in Gainesville.
Straight away three to Hot. Good. Nice play.
Coverage at 2:30 p.m. exclusively on the Auburn Sports Network.
Your spot for Auburn Tiger basketball on the Gulf Coast. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Now, taking your collection to the next level. It's the Instant Replay Sports Cards Box Break. With Aaron Bearden on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 60. Don't forget, you want to be a part of the show? No problem. 850-215-6290, the Red 7Ts phone line, your place for all things custom and apparel. Don't forget, I've got LSU Jeff. We've been calling him Big Ten Jeff. And then we've got Tennessee Brandon in the building. Sir. Now we get to have Aaron Bearden on the phone line from Instant Replay Sports Cards. Aaron, how are you doing on this chilly Wednesday in the Panhandle?
I'm loving it. How about you guys? Going good?
No, we don't love it. We want 80 and above and shorts. Jeff's wearing shorts right now, but none of us other sane folks are.
I got you. I was in L.A. a couple of weeks ago, and they were telling me, they were like, I said, yeah, it's like warmer back home than it is here. They were having a really cold snap. It was like 40 degrees during the day. And they're like, you're the only people that came to California to, like, get the colder temperatures. Everybody else trying to get away from it. They're like, no, This is great. This is way better.
Yeah, I'm definitely a hot weather person. That's the whole reason why I moved here. But either way, how's the card business going on? What do you got going on right now? And give us some info about anything maybe that might be coming up.
Yeah, good stuff. Allure Hockey just got released, which is a really, really cool product. Upper Deck's doing some great things with Allure across the board, whether we're talking hockey or AEW wrestling or their DC comic book line. Allure's becoming a really interesting product now. So, yeah, that just came out, the Bowman Draft Baseball. A lot of good releases coming out this time of year.
Now, I asked you the other day, I think it was last week, about the Topps basketball. Were you able to check to see if you have any more of the Topps basketball? Did you have the jumbo, or did you just have the hobby?
Yes. We have Topps and Topps Chrome basketball.
So
both of them in stock, regular Topps and Chrome.
Oh, wow. Well, that means I'm going to have to send Jeffrey over. What time your store close?
We're here till 8 p.m.
And you'll give us the Sports Blitz discount, right? That's what it's going to be?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So let me ask you this. No new news on anything that was going on with PSA or nothing like that as far as the stuff that has been going on? Everything's still kind of, working through it all, or is there any new information about that?
I haven't heard of any new scandals with PSA in the last 24 hours, which is, kind of surprising in and of itself. But, just more and more people moving away from PSA. Sure, they're big. They're on every street corner, like McDonald's. They're everywhere. Everybody knows about them. But, come on, is that your fine dining option right there? They're very sloppy to make a lot of mistakes. And there's really, I ask people sometimes, explain to me why you think, you should pay more for PSA or put any kind of premium on them. What is it that's better about their service? And I've yet to hear an answer. Their graders make way more mistakes. They've been caught with a lot of scandals, that kind of make you question the integrity of the whole operation. So, I don't see the point in it. A lot of people in the hobby, they get in the hobby, that's what they hear about, and they're told, just to sort of put the blinders on and just follow PSA everywhere. But I don't see it.
Have you gotten any new memorabilia? I know that when we've come over to your shop and checked it out, you've got signed jerseys and some signed memorabilia. Do you have any new memorabilia that you've got brought out?
We do. They actually purchased some stuff while I was out of town. So I came back to the shop and saw a lot of new jerseys hanging on the wall and some new helmets as well. So, there's always that kind of stuff coming in, and it's kind of neat. If I'm, like I was off yesterday, and I'll come in after a day off and see new pieces up there. that I don't even know about. So, yeah, always new stuff, new memorabilia getting put out.
Hey, Aaron, with the Baseball Hall of Fame induction, you've got players like Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones, some really solid Hall of Famers who obviously made it in. Does getting inducted to the Hall of Fame, typically in your experience, you see like values of their trading cards go up once inducted? Is there a value to that?
There's like a brief period, usually with people who aren't really, dedicated full-time collectors who are like, oh, yeah, I remember Andrew. I want to get one of his cards now. And, that lasts for a little bit of time.
Yeah. But
in general, if a player was an A-lister already, back to years where it was maybe, I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank. I don't know, a guy like a King Griffey Jr. Or Mariano Rivera, those kind of guys, when they go in, people already knew who they were, and they were already collecting their stuff. Andrew Jones and Carlos Beltran are kind of interesting because they came along in an era when cards were very overprinted, and they didn't really either one have these standout rookie cards that had huge effects on the hobby. Certainly in this area, Andrew Jones, big fan favorite, and everybody liked watching that glove when he was in his prime. But, I don't think it'll have that much of an impact on their prices. I thought this was a weird year for inductions.
Yeah.
Personally. I think that, to me, I always thought, how do you put Andrew Jones in the Hall of Fame when you haven't got Dale Murphy in there first?
Mm-hmm.
I think those guys are both worthy, and I think Dale Murphy has certainly had to wait a long time.
Definitely some politics involved in those inductions.
Yeah, and Beltran, I don't think, should be in there at all for his role in the 2017 Houston Astros debacle. It makes me a little worried that Hall of Fame voters are just going to sweep that under the rug and forget about it for future players. And, to me, that's not what the Hall of Fame's for.
Understood. Do you have any, so like right now, obviously, football is coming to an end. You got baseball starting up in the spring, and we're right in the middle of basketball season. Have you noticed, are there any like players or certain cards that you're like not able to keep in the shop? Are there certain hot players that you've seen people either coming to buy or potential, one in-store credit or trying to trade them or anything like that? What are the hot cards that you've been seeing in your shop?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Just the state of the hobby. It's so spread out and compartmentalized and all now to where, back in the 80s and 90s kind of heyday, everybody was after the same stuff. Everybody wanted the same cards. Yeah. And now, you have an entire day here at the shop, and it's like no two people want the same stuff. So the idea of this one card, this one player is going to be really hot, and as soon as we put them out, they'll be gone that day. There's really nobody like that now. You can take somebody like, Drake May, who is having an amazing run right now. But yet a lot of the people that come in collecting, they're like, yeah, not interested in that. It's kind of hard to have imagined that, say, back in the 90s when you'd be like, hey, look at this great Bo Jackson card, that somebody just be like, hey, I collect cards, but I don't care about Bo Jackson.
Is it because and like I said, I'm getting fairly back into it. Is it because there are so many products out there? I mean, you got the Panini, the Tops, and then each of them have their 12 different baseball lines, between the Now, the Chrome, all of it. It's hard for me to sit here and name them all, but is it because there are so many products and there's not just one or two that people are chasing? Is it because of that?
I think that is a lot of it. Yeah, I think there's just so much out there, and that people have had to sort of narrow their focus from back when you could say it's, Tops, Donruss, Fleer, Upper Deck Score, Bowman, like 6 cards or something that would come out each year, and you could go, hey, I'm a Barry Sanders fan, so I'm going to get one of each of his cards this year. Okay, if you bought 6 to 12 cards, maybe if you had like an All-Star, or a Pro Bowl card or something like that, and you're a league leader, and you were done. You had all of them, whereas now you really have to sort of focus because any one player you can name, they're going to have like 2,000 different cards come out.
Yes, what I'm noticing for sure. A lot of product out there.
Yeah, so I think that, people are collectors are kind of focused a little more. They're not trying to collect everything on the market. But, because of that, yes, it is hard to predict, like, what's going to be hot. Go into a card show or something, you're like, hey, this guy is really on fire right now. He just broke some big record. And then you go to a show, and it's like, wow, all weekend no one asked for that player. They asked for stuff I never even thought they would ask for and didn't even think to bring with me because it didn't seem like that was going to be the hot mover.
Let me ask you this, because obviously basketball season is really kicking up, and Cooper Flagg is the poster boy for this year and all of that. So as far as his autograph cards, number one, do you have any of those in the shop? And then number two, is kind of to piggyback what Brandon's saying, is he somebody that is kind of hot where everybody's looking for Cooper Flagg?
Right. I don't think we have any Flagg autos in right now. We've had several pulled here in the shop. We've sent them off and got them graded for people. Within basketball, sure, that's a solid guy to go after right now, it seems. But again, tons of people come in that collect, and it's like, well, hey, we got this Cooper Flagg graded rookie card, and they're like, oh, I don't do basketball, or I don't follow basketball. Who is he? So, yeah, I just think there's so much out there. You think back to, we sort of talk about those cards like the 80s and 90s when a lot of us were growing up. There were really three major sports on television: baseball, football, and basketball. Everybody knew, like I say, a Barry Sanders, Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan. You knew those kinds of guys. Now, man, there's so much out there. You got the UFC going on. You've got, all the various MMAs. And then things like tennis and pickleball and golf and hockey and a lot of sports getting shown on TV that maybe even in this area particularly weren't getting shown back then to divert some of that interest. So, yeah, you can be well-known in one sport, and yet a lot of sports fans don't even realize what you're out there doing.
With the way that our algorithms work on our phones, I will see from time to time a lot of sports card videos and things like that. So sometimes with my son, I'll check them out. And obviously the collections have changed. They're wanting to show me the money more than they are collecting their favorite player. So obviously that's the thing, no matter if they're 7 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, all the way up to adults. But let me ask you this. There's something that's kind of been coming across a lot lately, and that is counterfeit cards. Have you ran into that in your store where somebody's brought in a counterfeit card and maybe you guys purchased it, or did you recognize it out the gate and say, oh, that's going to be a counterfeit, and they had no idea because they had bought it from somewhere else?
Yeah, we do see counterfeits. I'm not going to say every day people bring in counterfeits. We do see them from time to time. We are pretty knowledgeable about that stuff. I can't recall the last time that we bought, a counterfeit card. Now, sometimes you buy a full collection off people.
Right.
And for something else, you go through it and you're like, oh, they had this one counterfeit, buried in the back. But yeah, I do see it from time to time. I see them moving through this area and people, coming in, hey, I bought this, from so-and-so. And it's like, yeah, that's counterfeit card. Maybe you can hopefully go get your money back out of that. But that's not legit. We had someone bring in one the other day. There was a counterfeit Mickey Mantle card from the 50s. And it was one of those where you could see it from 15 feet away. It's like, no, that's counterfeit. And they're like, how do you know that? It's like, well, real cards from the mid-1950s weren't glossy, for one. They didn't have these nice, shiny, bright, white, cardstock paperbacks. They were sort of pulpy. They used cheap cardstock on cards back then. So, yeah, we see them, but it's also we know what we're looking for. We've been doing this for 37, 38 years. So, seeing the counterfeits and know what to look for, know which cards are heavily counterfeited.
Yeah, and when you watch TV and you see some of the shows like, the Pawn Stars or, even those type of things, you can see a person that when they bring something in and they think they've got something, but they really don't. And because of that, because it was counterfeit or somebody, ripped them off or scammed them or whatever, and then it's like you can see the defeated, facial expression, so to speak. That just really stinks. I've seen a couple of the videos where it was kids and they had gotten disappointed by that. So that's unfortunate because the market has grown, and like what Brandon was saying, the market's so big and it kind of is so broad that you really got to stay on your P's and Q's to be able to know even the autographs, because some people know how to manipulate the autographs. Have you had some of that as well?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we get fake autographed items brought in. But again, I mean, I do a lot with autograph authentication. And, if you're trained in it, you know what you're doing, what you're looking for. Yeah, you can usually weed those out as well. And sometimes it's, like you mentioned, the disappointment, the reactions. Sometimes that will tell you. To give a good example, years ago, someone brought in, it was a whole family came in, and the mother did the talking. They had a Wayne Gretzky rookie card to sell. She told me the father had pulled this out of a pack when he was a little kid, and, the age seemed to check out for that. And I look at the card, and I'm like, unfortunately, this card is not authentic. This is a counterfeit card. They took it back and walked out the door. Nothing else was said.
Wow.
Which totally confirmed what I just said, because if I knew good and well I had pulled that card out of a pack when I was, 8 years old, and you told me it was fake, I would have something to say about it. I would.
Correct.
But the fact that they turned around and walked out, that told me they knew they were trying to push a counterfeit item.
For sure.
Well, that's unfortunate because, how they say it, there's one in every crowd.
Sure. And, I would say, like, we see parents who bring in before their kids have bought or traded for a counterfeit Pokemon card or something like that. A pretty good idea where some of that stuff goes on. I would say come to an authorized store to buy that stuff. Be careful, know who you're dealing with. There are a lot of shady people out there trying to take advantage, particularly of kids. Go to a business where there's some accountability. If they were to sell you something that was not authentic, maybe they didn't know, and they would make it right. But just buying them off whoever, wherever you happen to see someone out in the world selling Pokemon cards, be careful.
Yep. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. But either way, give us the address, Aaron, of your shop and your hours for the week, and tell us what's going on this weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're 752 West 23rd Street. That's a Stanford Station shopping center, Academy Sports, Sweet Frog, all of that. And we are open 7 days a week. Monday through Saturday, we're here till 8 p.m., Sundays 12 to 6. This week, we got Kids Club on Friday. We got some really cool giveaways. Check our social media. There's going to be some fun giveaway stuff for the kids that show up for Kids Club this week. Box breaks on Saturday. We just had Rip Night this past weekend, which was awesome. Tons of great stuff got pulled for that. So, keep an eye on our social media and our website to get all the details on all those events, because we got stuff going on pretty much weekly. We got Pokemon here tonight in just a couple hours.
That sounds good.
All kind of events.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you, Aaron, and have a good week, my friend.
Absolutely, guys. Take care. Everybody out there, be good and safe.
All right. And when we come back, we are going to talk a little bit more about this game that happened over Monday night. And we got to pull Jeff out of the Big Ten bubble. Get him back over here. You listen to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Text in now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. The Rams prove once again, regardless of weather, this warm weather indoor football team goes to Chicago. Folks, they didn't have a dropped pass, and that's why they beat the Bears. This LA team played more efficiently and played cleanly.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Weekdays at 1.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
No one wants to deal with a plumbing, electrical, or HVAC emergency. It's even worse when you're not sure what it'll cost, when it'll get fixed, or if someone's just selling you something. When you call Hiller, you can trust our experts to actually solve your home's problems quickly. And with true transparency pricing, you know the price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. Book online now at happyhiller.com. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
This is Auburn basketball.
Baseline left out to the top. There's a steal for Yeoman. Phillip on a drive to the hall. Holy cow! That's a one-man show right there. Phillip Yeoman.
Saturday, the Tigers take on the Florida Gators in Gainesville.
Straight away three to Hot. Good. Nice play.
Coverage at 2:30 p.m. exclusively on the Auburn Sports Network.
Your spot for Auburn Tiger basketball on the Gulf Coast. 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
This is the Sports Blitz. We don't just talk sports. We start fires. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Your place for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 60. Don't forget, it's going to be right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You want to be a part of the show? Why don't you? 850-215-6290, the Red 7Ts phone line. We're going to go ahead and go to the Red 7Ts phone line. We've got some text messages here. Rob from Lynn Haven. And this thing, sometimes it loads fast and sometimes it doesn't. And now it's not loading fast. I'm trying here. Okay. Don't need to run a draw because they were so far ahead in the other games. Okay. So there you go. And, you know, again, when you get into games where you're tight, you have to come up with creative ways, because if you go with what you know, they've been studying film. They've been knowing. There's so many. The game of football has changed. The game of baseball, basketball, football, they've all changed because of the age that we live in and the analytics now. I mean, they know 3rd and 7 plays that you ran in October, September, at the first of they know what you ran in last year's playoff. Because they keep up with it, you know, and even on the NFL games, when you watch, they'll pull up a thing that says probability, and it's like, go for it if it's 3rd and 2 or whatever. But I'm just like, gosh, that is just weird.
I remember they came out with this thing, and it was a bar game in like 1992, and I'd sit in a bar, and they had these trivia games. Remember that, Paul?
No, I was a kid.
Bar.
Yeah, I was a kid.
You were in high school.
in 82?
92.
Okay.
So,
but I mean,
he wasn't even old enough to drink, because Bama was 21 at the age, but he was 18 in Louisiana at that time.
Yeah.
And so
hold on, time out. Just give me 1 second. I had, when he's talking about, I hadn't even hit puberty at that age. He was already a full-grown grown man.
He's in diapers.
The difference between our age.
So I'd sit in a bar, and they had these trivia games, and sometimes, you know, it was like Hollywood or sports or whatever, and I was really good at that. But then they started this new thing, and they had it especially on Mondays, where you can guess whether it's a pass play or a run play, and if it was middle, left, or right.
Yeah.
And, oh, my God, I was like, oh, my goodness. I was all in on it. Every Monday, I was in there, and I was, like, just guessing.
It's like playing defensive coordinator.
It was, offensive coordinator, much.
Yeah, you're right.
But let me tell you something. I was watching this national championship game, and I'm not saying that's in the back of my head, but a lot of times I'm telling the girlfriend what? This is going to be a pass to the left. This is going to be in the flat. They're going to go a little bit further on down the field, you know, and everything. And Indiana, run on first down, run on second down. That's where he would trip me up. Like, I was like, What's he doing running back-to-back plays like that when he's only getting 3 yards?
No, kind of crazy because, I mean, Indiana ran more than double the amount of run plays that Miami did.
Yeah, but it was the order that they did it in. It was like, usually you run it on first down, you get 2 or 3 yards. You're going to throw on the second down. No, they were running it. And I was like, man, this is kind of putting them behind the 8 ball because now they're, 3rd and 6. They're going to be passing it. You know it.
Draw right up the middle.
Well, and the thing is when you watch that game, which, Brandon, when you watched it, and you might agree with me or you might agree with Jeff, I do have the ability to mute your mic, so be careful what you say. But there was no clear out-coaching done in that game specifically to me. I thought it was straight down the middle. I thought there was some, Signetti made some bad calls, some bad plays. They were not as disciplined as they had been. And then as well as Cristobal, there was some things that he called. He allowed this to happen or whatever. Whereas Jeff believed that it was a clear out coaching by Signetti and, having a good call is great, but I didn't see there wasn't an advantage like there was seemingly in the other games. The other games, it seemed like the game plans were better than Alabama, than Oregon, than the team Ohio State. But with this one, it just seemed like they just made a couple more plays and take away the punt. What kind of game we're having here?
So I will agree to a degree to both of you. Obviously, I think Kirk Cinetti was the better coach of the two. I think he was one of the better coaches in college football this year, no doubt about it. However, during the national championship game, I don't believe coaching decisions or coaching played the greatest factor in that game.
Yeah,
I believe it was, head-to-head, 2 championship teams. Everybody knew what everybody had. I would like to believe that probably they didn't run any new plays. It was probably what they have ran all year long. And, maybe a couple of signal changes, some minor, just to throw somebody off. I mean, it's just, it's what it's going to be. But, yeah, I kind of agree with you in the essence of I don't think, it swayed it one way or the other. But I do agree Kirk Cinetti is the better of the coaches and probably, if not, one of the best current coaches in college football.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I felt like, and Jeff, he felt like there was some plays, and yeah, I mean, if he called those plays, which I believe he does, and that was what I was going to say. If you could have gotten Bill Belichick's person that was running the cameras whenever they would steal the signs, all you got to do is just focus in on Signetti, and he'll say run. And he don't cover his mouth. He'll say we need to run the ball right here. Yeah. And I mean,
Campbell for the Lions is always doing
yeah, he's always covering it. So
another way you can tell like good coaching is in penalties, which Indiana had less than half, almost about half of what Miami had. Yeah. So the coaching kind of, in an essence, when you're talking about like discipline and making correct decisions, I believe coaching plays a big factor in those decisions for those players. Which Indiana had about half the amount of penalties and yards that Miami did.
The overage though, and maybe it's just my angst, I would call, against how much they're pushing Signetti. Like they're trying to find a replacement for Saban so bad in the college football game with the coaches. They're wanting someone to put on as the king of college football. I mean, I think that's what they're trying to do.
I think it's just the fact that, I mean, it's a fairy tale in itself. I mean, Indiana, before Kirk Signetti, was the most irrelevant football team in the country. I think they were the most losing football team. In Power 4. In Power 4. Yeah, but nobody, I mean, we talked down on the group of 5 and making the playoffs, so I wasn't including them. I mean, but nonetheless, I mean, the most losing football program in the Power 4.
Yeah.
And in 2 years,
turned them around.
Won a national championship.
Well, let me just say this, too. I know we talked about that yesterday a little bit. And we make Indiana sound like they were the worst team before Signetti got there. Let me just say this, okay? there were times that Indiana, if you go back and look pre-Signetti, there were times that they played Ohio State close. Now, does the score show that at the end? No. Ohio State might have pulled away at the end or got a pick six or scored another touchdown right there at the end. But let's don't get it twisted, please. Let's don't go too far in the fact that
But I can only name
there were some good Indiana teams that were not at the bottom of the Big Ten. They were better than Minnesota. They were better than Maryland. They were better than Purdue or Rutgers or whoever. They were not always the bottom. There were times that I watched Indiana play, and they gave the game away to Ohio State, and they were playing them tough.
I can name one player from like the last 30 years, and it's Randall L. Remember that guy?
Yeah, but you also, Penix played. Michael Penix was there.
Yeah, he was a nobody. I didn't know him really until he got to Washington.
No, I knew him before. I mean, that's why he went to Washington. I mean, in the next year.
Because he was at Indiana.
Because he was at Indiana and he was good, and he almost beat Ohio State.
Before Kirk got there, do you know what the records of the three past previous years they had? They were 2-10, 4-8, 3-9.
Yeah.
And you know
God
what?
awful.
And Purdue was actually doing really well, and Braum was up there, right?
Braum was there.
Yeah.
So Braum was there. You had the years of Maryland having some decent, but
Maryland always starts out at 4-0 or 5-0, and then they're like the Kentucky of the Big Ten. They really are. No, you're laughing, but you know it's true.
Because it's very
it's very true.
But then they run through, their bad deal. Yeah. So.
They did it this year again. I think they started like 5-0. And then ended like 6-6 or something like that?
Yeah, and dropped the last several.
Everything.
But we're going to finish out on the Red 70s phone line. Waylon says, as bad as I hate to say it, you can't leave out LSU. That's talking about
what are we
next
leaving?
year.
Oh, for next year. Oh, yeah. There's a couple of, I saw a couple of way too early rankings, and there was one that was really shocking that would upset you. And then there's been, and the one I did see today was 15th. That's what they had LSU preseason, 15th.
So he said, Old Kiffin going to work some magic with all that he's got coming back on defense and what he added to all.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of pressure to him. I mean, I'm telling you, going back to Oxford, if they don't win that game, they go back to and play Ole Miss next year. Listen, I'm ready for the fireworks.
So one of these way too early rankings that I saw, one of them, it really kind of seemed like pretty dead on, except it had Alabama at 21.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, come on.
I mean,
that disrespect there, that's just nuts. That's nuts.
They don't know. I mean, who's coming in and playing quarterback next year?
Keelan Russell is probably going to win the starting job.
Probably. So he's not head and above the
Austin
other person he's
right.
thinking. So he's not a clear-cut favorite. Yeah. So there's going to be a competition. So, I mean, obviously they're thinking that too. So realistically, you really don't know who your quarterback could be, going into next season.
And Alabama will not win the national title next year because they don't have a second-year starter or a transfer portal quarterback because the last however many since Sunshine.
Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
Yeah, and since Sunshine.
17.
Nobody, since 2017, you either had to be a transfer that came in to play or you was a second-year quarterback. So there you go. So that's the stat that I'm holding close to. So unfortunately, Alabama will not win the national title next year. That's just how it's going to work.
If you get field credentials for the Florida State season opener, you going?
Yeah, we're going. Yeah. Probably. Either way, we're going to go ahead and go to our break. And when we come back, we got to talk about the transfer portal, the NFL, and some other things that you find very, very funny. Either way, you're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get in the game. Call or text us now on the Red 70s studio line. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your spot for college basketball.
And it goes in at the buzzer. Got it.
Listen to select games from the LSU Tigers, Florida Gators, the Auburn Tigers, and the biggest games around the country play here.
Three-pointer, clutch it in. Oh, you saw that coming, Rap.
The most live college basketball in the Panhandle.
Game is
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Wednesday's weather. The remainder of the day, there will be a light breeze out of the southeast, mostly clouds and 63. Clouds tonight, a bit colder at 52. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a light breeze right around 6 miles per hour with a high of 69. About the same at 67 Friday, and we'll have some clouds in the early morning followed by very light rain. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Full residential and commercial projects from start to finish, Wheelhouse is ready to help. From the moment you have the thought to build to the moment you step through the front door of your finished project, Wheelhouse Consulting and Engineering will walk you through all of your aspirations. Engineering, site plans, live architectural design, construction, 3D rendering, permits, and more. Wheelhouse Consulting and Engineering, 850-896-6597. That's 850-896-6597. And online at wheelhousebba.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Gator Boys are back.
Florida will cut down the nets. Winners of the national championship.
And ready to defend their national title.
To the rack. Layup good and wide. Off to the rim. Alley-oop dunk. Smashed down by Condon. Oh, yes, sir. Gets the foul line extended. Rises for three. Bang, he got it. To the rack. Dunks it with two hands.
On your home for Florida basketball.
Catch select Florida Gator basketball games on 104.3 ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
Hi, this is Goga Bitadze of the Orlando Magic, and for big reactions on the Gulf Coast,
There's a new dynasty in the NBA.
it's the Sports Blitz with my boy Paul Wilson on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Thank you very much.
It's 5 o'clock, and we are right here at the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your place for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 60. If you want to call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We are talking a lot about college football. We're going to be talking about here in a moment the NFL and some of the things that's going on there. But real quick, we want to talk about, obviously, this NFL or this college football playoff and the portal and how it's affected all of this. Now, Brandon, we were talking earlier, and we were talking about this player, that player, this player, that player. Well, there's obviously some players that haven't signed yet, and the portal window is closing. And so explain to us, if you can tell us, basically what is going on as far as when they're open and when they're closed, and then what happens if you leave a school and it's closed. Are you stuck? Are you still got to enroll in a school? How does that all come out?
So kind of like the NCAA, the NIL, there's still a bunch of questions, a bunch of holes. But from what I can read, I mean, right now, I think the window's only open currently for the teams out of the national championship. Now, those kids who have already entered the portal prior to the window closing still have an opportunity to join a school. The real deadline is, it's not necessarily the open or closing of the portal. It is the enrollments for these schools. So these kids who aren't with a team, I think there's approximately 1,200 kids still that have entered the transfer portal that aren't with a team right now. Mm-hmm. And so at that point, their deadline, their rush is getting into a school before they enroll, whether that school really wants them or not. I mean, there are going to be kids with some hard hard decisions. Kids that don't get a D1 opportunity again, that may have to go to a JUCO level or Division II and work their way back up. So as some of these portal decisions, I think, are in the benefit, and some of these kids actually get to grow from the portal. Nobody tells the stories about the kids who don't, get a benefit from entering the portal and have a tougher road by making the decision they made instead of staying it out at their school. So
yeah, and some of those schools are paying those players to stay, giving them more money, asking them to come back. And then there's those schools that kind of was like with DJ Lagway meeting with John Summerall. He, basically from what everybody's gathering is that he told him there's going to be a competition and you're not going to make as much money. So basically then DJ has that choice to either stay for the money that he was offered at that time or negotiated at that time and or get in the portal. And obviously he got in the portal, signed with Baylor. Now, the rest is history for him playing in for the Big Bears of Baylor. Jeffrey, when you look at this, though, there's got to be some kids that are going to be left in the cold. There's got to be some kids that are going to be left in the dark that was told something. Who do you blame for that? Because to me, it seems like these agents are out here trying to tell them, oh, if you'll get in the portal, your valuation will go up. And then when they get their valuation, it comes back cheaper. And then, boom, they've already signed another quarterback or they already signed an offensive lineman or a tackle or something. And then now you're sitting there holding nothing and no offers. And then say you were at a Big Ten school, an SEC school, an ACC school, but now you're having to settle to go to a Sun Belt school.
So there's a couple of things to think about. It's the wording that the agents will use, like, they told me. Well, who's they?
Right.
And then how come they're just telling you, put it in writing? Because that's what lawyers, and I'm not saying all agents are lawyers, but a lot of them are.
Yeah.
And they know, no. I need something in writing and all that, and I need a signature on it saying that this is authorized or, there's something coming at you. Because these kids are getting up and moving. I mean, I know if you've done it. You lived up north.
Yeah.
And you made a big move for a job, and, it's not easy, I did it once, and, it's not sometimes you have to rent. Sometimes you have to buy, a house.
Right.
It's a big move, and these are kids, and it's not I'm not saying these kids are scared, but some of them are. And I have a cousin who just transferred. And I'd like to ask him, what's your experience, and you have to start up. It's probably scary because if you have a working relationship at one university and after your first year, you go to another university, you've got to create all these other connections and get to know your teammates and everything. And how many are on scholarship and then transfer and then don't have a scholarship at their next school?
That's part of the problem.
And I'm talking about tuition or housing or both, really.
Yeah.
Then you're looking at loans. And I'm not saying these kids don't want to look at loans, Yeah. They don't want to think about that. They're on the hook for that.
And wouldn't it be terrible to be on an NIL deal, have, not necessarily been promised a starting role, but they evaluated you at, say, $100,000. Your agent told you, man, you're worth $200,000. I know you can have $200,000. I've done talk to some people. And the next thing you know, you get into the portal, and then none of that happens. They offer you $50,000, or they offer you a scholarship of schooling, $20,000 for the year at the next place. And then you try to go back to where you came from, and they're like, well, we're sorry. We've already signed someone else that was taking up your scholarship, and now you get left in the cold. And the thing is that there's probably not, because they're gonna say, whatever. They can do what they want to do. There should be some guidelines for these stinking, you call them lawyers, I call them agents, for them doing some of these kids this way. Obviously, some of them are 21, 22, 23 years old. Yeah. They're still, considered adults, but at the end of the day, taking advantage of them and then still getting their deal out of it.
Yeah, so apparently doing a little more reading, options for unsigned players, they can ask to return to their old team. But obviously the obligation of like their scholarship and roster spot and money and all of the things that is involved for playing for that team are not guaranteed anymore. So I guess it's like almost like a null and void on your old contract. You're out. Put a big void or X on it. If you ask to come back, that's all renegotiated or something of that nature. So I guess you can ask to come back, but like Arian Carter, he was one of the leading tackles in Tennessee defense. Had allegedly entered the draft, got out of that, entered the transfer portal. He signed back with Tennessee.
Oh wow. Did he get more money?
I don't know the details.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So I mean, you can enter the transfer portal and you can go back. I mean, I've literally just seen it a couple weeks ago. But nothing's guaranteed.
Williams was the quarterback at Washington, right? And he's back there, right?
Yeah.
And now Mensa, Duke's acting like we're going to sue you, and if we win, you get to stay here and be our quarterback. You just got sued by your own university. That's kind of weird.
Well, that's the same thing with Williams, though. When you look at what Washington did, they basically said, no, you can't leave. We're not letting you out. And then the next thing you know, he comes back and signs it. So it's like,
come play for us when I know you don't want to play for us.
Come play for us.
I don't want to work for an employer that, basically just sued me for please stay. It's like I don't want to say it's an ex-girlfriend, but it's kind of like an ex-girlfriend
and
against your will, like handcuff me to the bed. I don't know what.
Jeffrey, you are our resident professional in ex-girlfriends. So anything of that.
No, I mean, like, what's the similarity there? I mean, I've been at a job I don't like,
We all have.
And you do it for the money, or I don't know why you're doing it.
Yeah, but also, though, on the flip side of that is, how do you get, especially with the quarterback position, we're talking about these guys are specific quarterbacks. Who's the quarterback? He's the leader of your team. He's the face of your team. He's the face
Half
of
the time they're the captain.
Right.
Yeah,
So now you've got a guy that's going to be your quarterback, that's going to be rallying your offense, that's going to be able to win football games, that didn't want to be there.
And motivate them.
And the only reason why he's there is because he lost in court. So that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, imagine just being the rest of the players looking around.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're the backup quarterback, and you're like, dude, this guy didn't want to be here. We sued him. He's still here. Like, now he's trying to tell us what to do. He didn't want to be here. Like, I could just see that just stirring the pot.
It'd be the same thing as, like, if you and your girlfriend, you wanted to leave, and then she took you to court, and the judge said, no, you got to stay with her.
I signed a contract.
So that's it. You're with her. You know what I mean? That's just a joke, by the way. But either way.
But even look at the players. Like, remember, what is it? Texas Tech had Craig James, his son. Remember?
Yeah.
And he had been put in a dark closet or room or whatever happened with
locked in
the
with
leech.
hazing.
The leech was the coach there. I mean, that was kind of a weird situation. You're still a player here. And then there was Northwestern. They had the the hazing.
Yeah.
And those players are still there. And I was like, this is kind of strange.
Yeah, so I mean, things have happened like that in the past, but really when you look at it this way, it's crazy because you're like, the Washington quarterback did not want to be there. He wanted to go somewhere else. And now Mensa.
Yeah, but he had just signed a new contract.
Right, but yes.
And then he saw something green, grass is greener over there. Oh.
Yeah, that's gold and purple.
Well, because of LSU. And guess what colors of Washington is? Same colors. Sorry.
Yeah. But that's just a crazy deal. Let me ask you this. Since we're talking about the portal, we're not going to spend the whole time talking about it. But as far as an LSU fan, how excited, how happy would you be if you find out when you wake up tomorrow that Malachi Toney has signed with LSU?
Oh my goodness! I mean, we've been called wide receiver U before,
yeah,
and it's. I'm not saying it's always concurrent. It's kind of like more of an off and on,
yeah.
And Ohio State, I see all the people you put in the pros, but you know what? They haven't been super all stars to me. They don't lead the NFL in receiving yards. Hardly ever, I can't even think of one that's done that.
Well, the Seahawks wide receiver this year, GSR or whatever his name is, they call him GSM or whatever his name is.
Yeah, the hyphenated Smith.
I can't, I can't pronounce all of his name, but either way, he is. He's a stud.
Where's Adunze? He's at
He's from Washington.
No, but where did
He's
he?
at the
Where
Bears. It was
I'm
the
just
Bears.
I'm just thinking of another player. I couldn't remember the how you pronounce. It's hard to pronounce the name. Let's put it like that. He's at the Bears. Yeah, that's right. Oh, he's made a big difference in the Bears. Anyway, that was off subject.
Yeah,
sorry.
Somebody just posted, Bobby Stavos stated, please don't say that. That's a horrible news if Malachi Tony were to go to LSU.
Oh, God.
And I mean,
he'd be happy if he went to Tennessee.
That's what I was going to say.
Absolutely. I mean, I said earlier in the show, that kid right there is the best athlete on the field. I mean, I'd be tickled to death to have him at my university, even though it probably costs us an arm and a leg. You know, put that new Adidas deal to work. Let's get some players in there.
Let me let you in on a little secret, and you may know it, you may not know it. I don't know if you know how many LSU national titles we've won in track, and we won even more in women's track. We dominated for a while, let's just put it like that. And we had wide receivers that were great, and they were fast, and they were there on track scholarship, not football scholarship. So you can maximize your players if you just have a great track program. And I don't know how Arkansas, who's been really dominated track, or other schools haven't done this where they can maximize the amount of players that they can have on scholarship because they're on track scholarship instead of football scholarship.
Yeah.
Easy pickings.
That's one of the easy ways. The Jackson Smith in Jigba is his name or something like that.
Yes, correct.
Jigba. Yeah, he's
Smith.
He's
correct.
Fantastic. But, you know, Malachi Tony, he reminds me of Steve Smith.
Okay. He reminds me of like a Tyreek Hill.
Just not a downfield. Steve Smith would go up with the best of them and grab the ball out of the. I mean, he would
Carolina
go deep.
Panthers, right?
Yeah, Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
He would just go.
And then the Ravens.
Yeah, but I mean, he's different though, even different than Hill because he's like thick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It's just weird because he seems like he's hard to tackle. Like he falls forward. You know how the Alabama running backs always used to fall forward and get like a yard or two extra. You know those guys. But Malachi Tony, that's it. So either way. I just wanted to know what y'all thought about him. Now, Brandon, obviously, we can't not talk about Tennessee.
Yeah.
Are you happy to know that when you woke up this morning that Indiana's strength and conditioning coach had entered the portal, and now he is at the University of Tennessee?
Yeah, so he worked with Heupel before. I think it was like UCF back in like 18. One thing I can tell you is we'll be hopefully a little stronger, a little meaner. You know, I'm not going to say that's going to be the difference maker, but it is nice to put some, you know, championship resume in there. He literally was around it, undefeated season. You know, he preseason, postseason, during the season. So you're bringing a guy in there who was around it all year, so hopefully bring a little extra motivation. It ain't going to be the difference maker, but I can guarantee we'll be a little stronger, a little faster, and hopefully a little more motivated.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, that's a good get. Now, I will say this. He is the top strength and conditioning coach as far as salary goes.
Yeah, he's the highest paid. He reconstructed the way that, you know, strength and conditioning coaches are paid. He makes like $1.2 million for a strength and conditioning coach, which is also like the team motivator as well. You know, the guy that hypes everybody up and things of that nature, you know, gives them all the, you know, the science and stuff like that that makes them, you know, strong.
Who come
the
up
legal
with all
science.
That? Who come up with all that stuff?
What are you talking about?
What team was that did all the making the strength and conditioning coach like a cool thing? And
USC. USC.
Who was he?
No, I don't remember what his name was, but USC had unbelievable strength and conditioning. And as far as diet goes, I mean, there's been so many universities that have done the diet thing, you know, and then we're not just talking about Gatorade at Florida, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It's
no, I mean, like, there's a lot of things into it.
He's trying not to say
It's nice to get them on the team, you know, going into a big 26 year where we've got 9 SEC games, you know, so to get these kids ready, I mean, I would assume he is a level up from what we had previously. So I do expect a little bit of an improvement in that form.
It's Scott Cochran, by the way. It's Scott Cochran. everybody knows who Scott Cochran is. He's the one that everybody talked about. He was on 60 Minutes. He's the one that used to scream at Alabama that he always had the hoarse voice. He was the one that was at Alabama that made the strength and conditioning coach cool. And y'all can shrug your shoulders.
Never heard his name.
Yeah, never heard of national titles that he won. And then all of a sudden, he went over to Georgia, and then they won 2 more over there when he was there. So anyway,
sounds like he needs a raise.
Like 8. Well,
I think Mark Ingram looked pretty built.
He's a head coach of the West Alabama football team, so he's a head coach.
Well, LSU strength and conditioning coach who got let go went to Texas A&M, and he's a big name too. The guy at Texas A&M now.
Oh, okay.
How do you go from strength and conditioning to head coach?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, good question.
Because he was that good. I mean, he now is going to start strength and conditioning coaches going to be head coaches.
There you go.
So not only did he make it
to West Alabama.
Right? Where are you coaching at?
No, I'm not coaching anywhere right
I'm
now.
just checking, just making sure. Since we're going to, still, he's still making a nice salary.
We were making jokes about, I coached a couple of times for just baseball, but I'm not Coach Jeff, but he would be Ref Paul. Nobody likes a referee.
He's on me today, but that's okay. We're going to take our next break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about this NFL coaching carousel that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
You've been listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 17 studio line. ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
The ones that had access to be able to buy tickets or had tickets, got tickets, that the average or median price was $4,200 some odd dollars.
That's right.
And so, if you were able to get tickets or had access to tickets, $3 or $4 grand in my pocket, I'm going to do that.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Wednesday's weather. Tonight there will be a light breeze out of the east, clouds and 53. Some sun tomorrow morning, about the same at 65, and a wind out of the east at 6 miles per hour. In the afternoon and evening, sunny and a gentle breeze right around 8 miles per hour with a high of 68. About the same at 69 Friday, and we'll have some clouds. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party. No, you see, you get $150 in bonus bets after your first $5 bet hits.
Did somebody say hit?
Whoa, Ray Lewis? We were just saying if your bet hits.
Huh? You know I love a good form tackle.
We know, Ray. We know.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets. Not a cash offer. Offered by Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
We're proud to bring you the most popular cars in the world, like the stylish Camry and the sporty Corolla. Get award-winning style and 2.99% APR on a new Camry. Named the best new model by Kelly Blue Book. Plus, you get 90 days until you make your first payment. Curb appeal comes standard on the new Corolla. Designed to wow from the inside out. Get 2.99% APR plus 90 days until your first payment. Panama City Toyota, your Camry and Corolla headquarters.
Offer ends February 2nd. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com for details.
This is Auburn basketball.
Baseline left out to the top. There's a steal for Jovic. Phillip on a drive to the hall. Got it! Holy cow! That's a one-man show right there. Phillip Jovic.
Saturday, the Tigers take on the Florida Gators in Gainesville.
Straightaway three to Hot. Good. Nice play.
Coverage at 2:30 p.m. exclusively on the Auburn Sports Network.
Your spot for Auburn Tiger basketball on the Gulf Coast. 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
The sports world is a battlefield of opinions.
Auburn's got a serious problem.
And every day, Paul Wilson brings the heat, the fire, and the definitive take.
They are not finding ways to get him the football.
Don't just follow the headlines.
But they lost 2 road games, and these 2 teams are ranked number 5 and number 6.
Be a part of the story on the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. Your place for the Orlando Magic basketball, which will be tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Don't forget to catch it right here. We are big fans of the Magic. I think we're going to be giving away some tickets very, very, very soon. So either way, listen here for that. We just announced it. It's going to happen. Either way, you can be a part of the show, 850-215-6290, the Red 7T's phone line. We've been talking about it a lot, and we haven't really dove into it much, and that is, what kind of world are we living in now? Not only did the college football season be one of the craziest, not just with Indiana winning and all of the, but the Lane Kiffin saga and coaching carousel and all of that. And then now we've got all of the NFL. You know, I know that statement says, hold my beer. The NFL says, you know what, watch this. And so now we've got John Harbaugh signing with the New York Giants. Yes or no, Jeffrey? You like that move by the Giants?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brandon, you like it?
I do not like it. I think it is a pretty good move.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Who's going to do better than that?
Yeah,
right. I mean, right?
No,
he's one of the most.
Nobody. Tomlin's not signing on anywhere.
No, I'm telling you, that was a great hire. And with that defense that they've already got, they've got stars on the defensive side of the ball. Now it's going to be that's where you with the NFL, it's so crazy. Your defensive guys, it's crazy. You've got to have an offensive coordinator, or you've got to have somebody that is like trusted or they love or something. And you on the offensive side, like Andy Reid, for example, he's an offensive-minded coach. So he's going to do the offense. So you got to find somebody that is a reputable defensive guy. You can't go with just a blah or whatever. And so that's why they've been so I think John Harbaugh is going to do really well because he's going to get a good offensive coordinator and he's going to move it in. So I was pretty ecstatic about that. I thought that was a good move for him. And he was announced, and I thought it was kind of comical. He's told his brother that he's not going to be playing against him as much. So there you go. So he can be happy about that.
Well, that's exactly what Jim said. He said, I wish him good. I wish him luck going to the NFC. And that was way before the Giants were even really looking at him.
Well, he knew where he was going. They already had talked, I bet.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
I thought it was going to be Miami. Because I thought, and it's not that Giants don't have pieces. I mean, you talked about the defense. We know they have a great defense, but they have these young players. They have Jackson Dart, right? Scatterboo. Yep. And then
Neighbors.
Oh yeah, Neighbors. Oh yeah, Neighbors coming back off an injury.
Yeah.
And I mean, they got weapons. I mean, this is a team that's been a perennial last place team for 3 or 4 years now, and they're going to be in the conversation. And I think the teams that it hurts the most is, I don't want to say, almost the whole rest of the division. I mean, we know the Eagles, they control this division, but we mainly look at the Commanders and the Cowboys and say, hey, guys, y'all going to be a wild card? Because these Giants, they're going to split with you.
Yeah.
They're going to split games.
I mean, that's going to be an interesting division.
I think free agency is going to play a big role because Wan'Dale Robinson, one of their slot receivers, which he's good.
He's good.
I'm not sure if they're going to keep him or what. And then you got to think, A.J. Brown. Where's A.J. Brown going?
He's leaving
Philadelphia.
Do you have a guess of where he's going to go?
I have no guesses.
Wouldn't that be crazy if he went to the Giants?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talks and everything, and we keep on just guessing that this draft is not going to be trades, but I'm kind of leaning towards the Raiders are going to be one of the ones that trade their pick away.
I mean, they do because they need way more than just a quarterback. They have many holes.
And what's going to happen is he's going to get beat up for 3 years, and then he's going to not want to be there anymore.
No, yeah. An injury or just not pan out the way you needed to because of protection, coaching, development, etc.
I mean, there's been so many players, and I'm not just picking on the Raiders, Patriots, Jets. It's been in the long past. It's been a long while, but there's been teams where quarterbacks go there to die, and the Browns are probably the worst of them all.
Oh, yeah.
And now the Saints are going to be one of those ones.
But when you look at a team like the Patriots, though, with a new quarterback, And so, the Raiders last year, they got their running back, which he didn't do much. And then you've got Brock Bowers coming off of an injury.
Yeah. So you got a running back and a tight end.
And then they let Jacoby Myers go. Yeah. And he was fantastic for the Jaguars.
He was. He's a good pickup for the Jags.
And so
now you need a wide receiver and a quarterback and maybe another wide receiver. And then the defense is kind of...
Crosby.
Yeah, Crosby and all that. He's a beast, and he just signed a new contract.
But if you were able to grab a wide receiver in free agency, grab your quarterback at the number 1 pick, and then build your offensive line or your defensive line, whichever one needs the most work, which probably the offensive line would be my guess. Let him come in, sit behind Geno Smith for a year, and then go. Don't throw him in there right off the bat.
You'd have to know that Mendoza was, obviously I think he's the clear cut in this draft, but when you weigh him against the allegedly next year heavy quarterback draft, how does he stack up? Is Mendoza maybe the 3rd or 4th guy next year? Can you fill out with an offensive lineman, a couple of defensive anchors, and I'm not saying tank it, but give it your best shot. And then at that, next year you've got more pieces. You still got one of the top 3 picks and a heavy quarterback-loaded draft. Because at this point, you got Mendoza and you got Ty Simpson. There's still question marks on Ty Simpson, and I hear question marks on Mendoza. So it's not like there's one that is just astronomically. This is the guy, generational. He's not a Trevor Lawrence. He's not, these big guys where they're coming out. This is generational talent, not an Andrew Luck, things like that. So, I would agree and wouldn't put it past them to actually give up that first pick overall and kind of actually fill out the roster.
I don't want to talk about a volunteer, but here we go. What happened with Peyton Manning could have happened to Mendoza, where a rookie year was just horrible, and then he develops from that point on because of the intelligence.
He had broke the single season interception record his rookie year. Yeah, absolutely. People would have thought he was hot garbage, and probably did after his first year.
I think he was 4-12. It's not him; it's a team.
It is.
Let's be honest, because the Colts were.
They had the top pick for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So
because they had one really bad year, but the previous year they went to the AFC Championship. So I'm not saying they had little pieces, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't the Browns.
No, but to think that Mendoza might be the Peyton Manning, like a diamond in the rough, is a stretch, nonetheless.
Yeah.
If you think Mendoza is going to turn into Peyton Manning, you bumped your head. There's no possible way that Mendoza is going to be able to be what Peyton Manning is.
I think Jeff just correlated the first year struggle and then just having success after. I don't think he's saying, hey,
you know what?
Draft him because he's going to be a potential Hall of Famer or anything like that. It was an extreme radical example, but I did follow actually what Jeff was saying on that.
You were young.
So was I.
In 98, the draft happens, right?
Yeah.
And, the 4-12 season, and then they start turning it around, and Dungy was there after Mora, because Mora was let go, right?
Playoffs.
You know what? Every year, first round exit. I can't tell you how many times Peyton Manning. He wasn't Peyton Manning really yet, and this is what he did in Super Bowls. Now, I'm not taking away that he went to 4 Super Bowls, but he won 2 and he lost 2. He's not Tom Brady. He didn't have all these rings. He's not the Superman of all quarterbacks of all time. And I'm not taking away great quarterback, top 10 of all time in my book, But, there's other quarterbacks that have just as many rings, and they aren't even in the Hall of Fame. And one of them's named Eli Manning, and the other one's named Jim Plunkett.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, you got to look at when Tom Brady was going to championships and winning, he was having to barely screech out wins against Peyton Manning, in which regard, if Peyton Manning would have won those games, he probably would have went on and won, because the teams that they played later on, that was the real Super Bowl every single year.
Yeah.
Head to head, those were the 2 best teams every year. It just they were on the same side of the spectrum.
And it's crazy because I don't even think about the Colts-Patriots as being that huge rivalry in my head, but it was those 2 players when they were there.
Yeah, and it was big time.
Unlike, it's not up on the big board right now, Broncos and Patriots are a big rivalry out of their division, out-of-division rivalry.
Yeah.
And it's been perpetual. They've done it a bunch of times.
Yeah, so let's move on to the next coach, and I'm going to ask you guys whether or not this is the question, yes or no. Sean McDermott, shocked that they fired him, Brandon?
After this year, yes, but in totality, no.
Jeffrey.
What's he, 6-6 in the playoffs? I hate to say average because, I mean, he gets them to the playoffs every year, right?
But are you shocked? He gets to the playoffs every year. He took them to the playoffs.
I was shocked, and I was told at work because I'd left my phone inside because that's what we're supposed to do. And
good job, by the way.
Boss,
they're watching.
And my boss came up to me, and he said, the Bills let McDermott go. And I didn't really hear him right. I thought I didn't hear him right. And I said, wait, what? And they said, the Bills let McDermott go. And I was like, that didn't even click in my head. It was almost shock. And I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think it should have happened, but here we are. You know, I mean, sometimes you need the coach that's going to have the best relationship with the quarterback to get him to break through. And with the, like you were saying, Chiefs and Ravens out, this is the year. It was do or die.
But let's be honest, though, and let's just be honest about it. Have we held them up this year as being a better team than they actually were because of what they did the years before?
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because this team that they had this year with these players were not better than those teams that he had in the last.
When he was playing the Chiefs and stuff like that. Yeah, this team was far beyond less talented than his previous years. And that's why I thought after this year, he might get a pass because of the injuries, the lack of depth, you know, things of that nature. But on the flip, this was the Bills' year, you know, with no Lamar, no Patrick Mahomes, no Burrow. You know, you have a bunch of young, inexperienced teams with young quarterbacks, Drake May, Bo Nix, and here you got Josh Allen. You've been, you said 6-6, so they've had 12 playoff games. And, you know, a boatload of experience. I picked them to win this year because I really thought this was the scripted year that they win it with all those other guys out, and it just wasn't.
I don't think they finished in second place until this year in that division.
Yeah, but this division was weaker than it had been in a long time.
Not this year. The other years have been really bad.
Either way, we're going to go to the Red 70s phone line. We got Arnold on the line. What is going on today?
Look, man, I heard y'all comparing Peyton Manning and Mendoza. You do realize that the NFL has changed so much since the Colts got Manning and they had Edwin James. You remember how they run that long draw that Edwin James made a living off of? Mm-hmm. That kind of run don't work anymore. These defenses are so fast, Peyton might not have made it in today's society because of the fact that he didn't move. And they would kill a frozen quarterback.
Yeah, he didn't move, but like in today's NFL, like you're not allowed to breathe on the quarterback without a flag. So I mean, you know, it's the fact that I know it doesn't seem like our football that we knew, but the quarterback and the offensive positions are more protected than they had ever been in the history of the game. So I think honestly, he might be better today than he was, you know, back in the day because of the lack of the hits, you know, the injuries, the things of that nature. You know, I think it could be also the flip side. Not that I disagree, but could be the opposite easily as well.
What I'm saying is they don't run the ball like they used to.
No, they don't. They don't, because it's a passer-friendly league because of how well protected everybody is. You know, it's a gunslinging league. You know.
When he entered the league, the man that was on top, and I'm not saying anything bad about Steve Young, Brett Favre was the man. If you had told me he would have had just one Super Bowl ring, I would have told you were crazy at that point in '97.
Yeah, they came in at the right time. Him and Brady did, honestly, because there was a changing of the guard.
Glanville, when he was with the Falcons, he used to take Brett Favre. He told him he wasn't never going to see the field as long as he was the coach, and he'd put him at the 50-yard line and bet the coach that he was playing against money that Brett Favre couldn't throw it into the third deck.
Wow.
That's how stupid that man was. Y'all have a good day, man. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it, man.
He was the most hated Falcons coach of all time as far as Saints fans go. We hated Glanville.
Jerry Glanville, yeah.
Yeah,
well, he always wore his black boots and his black shoes and his cowboy hat.
And he used to, I think he used to have a seat for Elvis Presley in the stands. That seat's for Elvis whenever he wants to show up.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you know who shows up all the time? AutoNation Ford in Panama City, 730 West 15th Street, right there by the railroad tracks. If you're in the market for a used car, a new car, go see them. They still have got the deals. They still are showing, if you want to turn in the Jeep and get a Bronco, $2,000 knocked off that price. Go see the salesman over there. They will tell you all about it. I think all you have to do is basically just bring your vehicle in there, show them proof of ownership, and boom, just like that, you can be riding in a great, big, nice Bronco. Now, let me ask you something. We learned about the aluminum beds last week.
Yeah.
And, what else can you guys do? So we know about mirrors. We know about door handles. How hard is it? I mean, can't I just get my plunger and just stick it on my car and pull out a dent, or is there more work to do than that?
Definitely more work than that. I mean, here recently we've been like the Corvette specialist. The new C8s. It seems like every other shop in town is kind of afraid to tackle them, and we're not. I got a couple of guys who we work on these C8s all the time. I've got one that's owned, and it's just because the factory had put the bumper on a little too early after painting it, so the corners of it are rolling off. Wow. And so we've got to take it off, sand it down, repaint it, color match it, everything like that. But yeah, we seem like the Corvette specialists, and we do a lot of these Corvettes are fiberglass. So not only do we do aluminum, steel, we also do fiberglass work as well. So whatever it is, I mean, we're an auto collision, but we've done, boat cowlings, jet ski holes. I mean, we have capabilities of more than just automobiles. However, we just get so busy with automobiles at times that that's about the only thing that we can work on when, running heavy. But fiberglass work, so we were able to do that as well, along with aluminum and steel, color matching, things like that. So yeah, if you have anything fiberglass, we fixed a 79 Corvette. Now, I'm not going to advocate for fixing all older vehicles. Older vehicles are a little more difficult, but we have been known to do that as well. So if y'all have any questions about your vehicle, whether it be older or newer, whether, you've got an aluminum, a steel, or a fiberglass repair, anything, come by 1329 Jinx Avenue to Recommended Collision. Just ask us a